So I'm just laying in bed before I have to get up and start work. But I think in Disney, one of the most chaotic things that they do or have ever done is to allow people like a performance platform when there's no exit strategy. Like, say, for example, like if you go into Monsters Inc. Laugh Factory, or if you go see Turtle Talk with Crush, there there could very well be like a way that the performers can kind of sneak out of like uncomfortable like conversations and interactions with the performers that are happening in real time. But at the same time, you have to get in front of it first, because there's a lot of people that will be able to play along with it, but there's a lot of people that not very good at it. And I'm pretty sure that guest was, meaning a lot of fun um, in that moment. But I think for everybody around them, that probably would have been a very uncomfortable moment, especially if you're asking Disney characters, would you like to dance in hell with them? Like, I find that especially like in those type of shows, there's a lot of people who go to like Monsters Inc. Laugh Factory, or they go to Turtle Talk with Crush, and the very moment they kind of understand what that show is about, they have this mission to become the main character. Like they are on this mission to be, I want to, that guy or whatever. They just want to have at least that 10 minutes of, I'm the most important person in the room, so I have to make sure all attention is on me. Sometimes in those situations, especially when you're kind of bantering back and forth with the characters, oftentimes what happens is that if you're not very good, say, performing, or if you're not very good at improv, you can make that whole interaction turn sideways very, very quickly. I know that's probably not something that like Disney is ever going to remove. That's all. It's going to be a feature that is going to be something that's going to be a long Disney thing where people are like, oh yeah, we love to have like character interaction, we love to have guest interaction. But as we saw with the Tally the Elf thing, is that when you give that power back to the people, they will always misuse it. If you want to see this in real time without Disney being involved, go to like those interactive dinner experiences, and then you'll see how quickly like the most timid person, when they are given the permission to become the main character, how they will take that power and then make it upon themselves. Like if anybody's seen like Tony and Tina's wedding, that in that particular play, you are a guest at their wedding, literally, and then they will talk to you and interact with you, and you are literally a part of the show. I think there's some too that's just around. But if you find like a dinner theater, you should definitely go. But you will also see people who, when there's people who just want to just kind of just watch from afar, they're going to watch from afar. But there are people who will take the power of becoming the main character and then make it theirs. And this is kind of what I'm seeing here. And it happens a lot on Disney, and it is mad uncomfortable when it happens. This situation, I think it's easy to like look at it and immediately say, yeah, I think that she's on a spectrum, but I don't really, and I don't really think that that's the case, even though I'm pretty sure that she is, but that isn't about that. What ends up happening is that when you have a situation where somebody is given a spotlight, in a stage and a platform, they're going to take it and they're going to make it more than what it is. So it makes things difficult for, especially when it comes to performers, because as we kind of want to banter back and forth, there's going to be an opportunity for that person to say, okay, how can I make it about me now? Because if that was the case where somebody could actually say, you know what, I really want the performers to perform and I really want to use this space to perform and I'm just an observer, then we wouldn't have had a huge discourse on Tally the Elf. Because in that situation, there was a lot of people who were watching Tally the Elf, and then as they were interacting with him, they were like, well, I can try to go one above him and then kind of make it about myself and lesser about the performer. My favorite is around the Christmas time when you have the Grinch, and then people go and do the meet and greet for the Grinch, and then they do these things to try to get one over on the Grinch, because now they have a platform to make themselves seem more important than the character that they're meeting. And yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is cute. It's like a little cutesy sort of situation, but I can also kind of tell that the air of uncomfortability in that room like came down to like ground levels like DEFCON 5, especially in the situations where you're like, I don't know what to do and I don't know how to respond to somebody saying that type of things in public. And again, I'm not a doctor, so I can't really diagnose the person that was saying it. I just know, like, as me kind of watching and being a bystander, I'd be like, this is kind of awkward and strange. You know what I mean? So that would have been a weird situation. Same time, you can go to Turtle Talk at any given time, at any given moment, and somebody's going to ask Crush, how often does he fuck? And that question comes up all the time, and nobody brings it up. But Turtle Talk with Crush is probably one of the most uncomfortable like conversations. If an adult gets involved, it becomes uncomfortable very, very fast. I would be willing to say that that adult is also on the spectrum. That it remains to be seen. But I find that adults do make the conversations more uncomfortable when it comes to Crush, and it's thousands and thousands of kids.